Okay, guys. So today we're going to start with logical function. So in DAX, today we'll going to learn a logical function. So in logical function, we're going to learn. First type of function is if. Then we're going to understand what is and function, and there is another function that is called or. So we're going to study and or, and we're going to study switch. So in logical function, these four functions are very very important. That is if, then and, or, and switch. These are the four functions that we're going to study. After once we complete logical function, we're going to study time, date and time function. So in date and time function, we're going to study today function. Then we have a now function, and after that we're going to study about what is date function. Then we're going to study about date diff function, and we're going to study about year, month and day. These are the three different function that we're going to study, and at the end we're going to study e of month. So e of month we're going to discuss. Okay. I will be going to provide you all the data and everything so that you guys can practice. We'll also see what are the different scenario in which these are the DAX function that you can use, so that if the similar scenarios are asked in the interview or you face during while working on any of the project, you should able to implement that DAX function to create your measure or calculated column. Okay. So guys, let's start with logical function, and once we complete logical function, we'll move ahead with the date and time function. Okay. In logical function, the first function that we're going to study about if function. For that, we should have data. So let have this sales data. So if you see this sales data, I have sales ID, I have product category, and I have sales amount. So if you see sales ID, I have a sales ID 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. And we have a product category that it is electronics or furniture or clothing or furniture and electronics and furniture. So these are the different product category, and what is the sales amount that each sales ID have. So if you see, for the sales ID 1, the sales amount was 500. For the sales ID 2, it was 150, and so on. So these are the three column that is present into my sales table. Okay. Now what I have to do, I have to classify all these sales amount each row based on their amount. So if suppose if my sales amount is greater than 400, so against this row it should come high sales, because amount is greater than 400, so it should come high. If the amount is between 200, greater than and equal to 200 and less than 400, so it should become as under medium. And if the amount that is sales amount is less than 200, then it should label it as low sales. So for this row, if you see sales ID 3, product category clothing, and the sales amount 75, for this row it should label it as a low. Okay. So if you see here, this is the output that I want. So if you see the output, you know here, for the sales ID 3 and the product category clothing and sales amount 75, since 75 is less than 200, so it is labeled at low. Now if you see this sales amount 500 for the sales ID 1, since the sales amount is greater than 400, so it should be labeled as high, and so on. So you have data this much. What you have to do, you have to create one new column into this table, and this column should create value based on the sales amount. So if the sales amount is greater than or equal to 400, it should be high. If the sales amount is greater than equal to 200 but less than 400, it should be labeled as medium. and if the sales amount is less than 200, it should be labeled as low. So these are the transformation that we have to do, and we'll we'll try to implement this, uh, ki- this logic we'll try to implement this logic using switch function, and we'll also try to implement this logic using if function. So we'll try to implement this logic with the help of both the function, and then we'll also try to understand what if function will going to do and what switch function will going to do. Okay, let me go to this. We have a Power BI report with the name of inventory. Let me insert this data. To insert this data manually, we'll need to click on transform data. This my Power Query will going to open, and I will click on enter data. As of now, nobody should have any doubt with this, how we are inserting this data. So I will write, uh, I will write if versus, or let me write sales detail. So this is the name of the table. Sales detail, sales underscore detail is the name of the table. Let me load this table, and once the data has been loaded, I will going to check data type of each of my column. So the sales ID is in 1 2 3 4 and 5. So data type should be 1 2 3. That is whole number. So this is a correct data type detection by Power Query. Then we have a product category. If you see, all these values are text value. So ABC, you say text data type. So this is correct. And also in this sales amount, if you see, the values are in number. So these values are in number. So the sales amount is showing in the number. We have taken 1 2 3, but I will going to change the data type to decimal. Okay, I will going to change the data type to decimal number, so that sales amount can be in decimal number, so that I change it. Okay. Now since my column headers are correct, data type is correct, the value in this table seems to be correct, what I will do, I will load my data from Power Query to Power BI desktop. How I can do that? I have to click close and apply, and I will able to do that. Okay. So see, the data has been successfully loaded. If you go here in the table view, and if you try to see sales detail, if you see these names are in alphabetical order. Okay, so here I will get sales detail, and I have this data. What I have to do, I have to create one column into this table. That column is called calculated column. Okay, because I am creating that column into Power BI desktop using DAX function, so that is called calculated column. How I can create calculated column? So I can create calculated column by clicking on three dot, that is called ellipses, and I can click new column. I can select column. See, so I got column tool tab. Okay, in this column tool tab, let me uh, give the name of the column that I wanted to create is sales category. So I will give this name as sales category. You can give any name, but I am giving a relevant name, because what I'm doing, I am categorizing my each of the sales, sales based on sales amount. Okay, so based on this sales amount, I am categorizing, so what I will do, first of all, I will going to use for simple if function. So I will be going to use if function. Okay, so I will use if function, so I will write if. Okay, I will select it here. Whenever you are writing if function always start with a parenthesis or the round bracket that we have already discussed. Now if you see, this if function need three parameters. So if you see, if function need logical test, and if the logical test is true, then what is the result that I want? okay, as a second parameter. And if the logical test is false, then what is the result that I want? What I try to means that, if I want to check, that whether my sales amount is greater than 400 or not. So let me write this logical test. So what I will do, I will write a logical test. Okay, I will say that sales amount. So this sales amount, the name of the table is sales detail. The name of the column is sales amount. Let me, make it bigger in size so that you guys can see. So what I have done, I am using if function. I am writing logical test. What is the logical test? I am writing. I am saying that, the sales amount column. This is a sales amount column. This column is present inside sales detail table. So see, the name of the table is sales detail. So first of all, you need to write the name of the table, and inside this table, on which column I want to apply logical expression, I want to apply on sales amount. So I will write name of the column within a square bracket. So if you see this, this sales amount column is enclosed within a square bracket. Okay, what I have to do, I will write, logical expression. What is the logical expression that I want to write? That I will say that sales amount should greater than and equal to 400. So what I am saying, I am saying if my this, sales amount is greater than and equal to 400, then give me high sales. Suppose so, like, I want to pass some string value, it should be in double quote. So I will say high sales, okay, as a second parameter. So this is my second parameter that I already passed. That, if this condition is met, give me this value against that row. Okay, so it will going to check for each of the row. How it will going to check? It will go to the first row and check if sales amount is greater than or equal to 400 or not. If it is greater than and equal to 400, give me this value. So against this row, it will going to give me high sales. Or if this condition is not met, give me low sales. So I am saying give me low sales. So whenever you are passing any string value, it should be inside double quote in Power BI, but in SQL it should be inside single quote. Okay, so these are the double quote. Within this double quote, I am providing a string value. I am providing this string value. Okay, and let me close my if function and let me hit the enter key. So what is happening? Okay, so since I created calculated column always, calculate value for each of the row. So it is row context. In previous class we have discussed, for each of the row this logic will going to implement. For each of the row, this logical expression will going to check. So, for the first row where sales id is 1, product category is electronics, and the sales amount is 500, it will going to check. What is the condition it will going to check? Go to this sales amount column, that is this column. Check the first row, that is value is 500. What it's saying, if the value is greater than and equal to 400, if it is greater than equal to 400, give me high sales. So since it is, it is 500, which is greater than 400, okay, the condition is met, means this condition is true for this row, and that's why if it is true, give me this value. I'm saying give me high sales. So it has returned me high sales. Now it will go to the second row because I have created calculated column. If you see, for the second row, it will going to check sales amount. The sales amount is 150. Okay, what is the logical condition I'm putting? If the sales amount is greater than equal to 400, then give me this. Else, give me low sales. So since this condition is false, this condition is false because here the sales amount is 150. So for the second row, this condition will going to be false, and I will get whatever I mention in false. So I mention in low sales, I get low sales. If I simply mention low, I will have low. I will have low here. Now it will going to, the third row. Again it will going to check whether if sales amount is greater than or equal to 400 or not. So it is saying it is the sales amount is 75. This condition is not met. So whatever the value that you will mention in the false condition, you will get a low. Same apply for row number 4. But if you go to row number 5, here the sales amount is 400. What is the condition I am putting? It is greater than or equal to. Either it is greater or either it is equal. So this is for the equal or this is for the greater sale. So if it is either greater or either equal, out of these two, if any of the met, it will give high sales. So here the value is 400. I am giving equal to sign. It is equal to 400. Yes, if it is equal to 400, the this logical expression is true. If it is true, give me high sales. Okay. So this is the if function. This if function is called logical function, which help us to apply some logic. So I'm applying logic based on sales amount column. Guys, just one sec. क्या बोल रहे हो? वायर? अबे क्या कर रहे हो भाई? रिकॉर्डेड सेशन है, वीडियो यूट्यूब पे डलता है, तुम भी आके इसको लेके आते ना. Guys, I'm back. Okay, so as of now, if you have any question, please guys ask. Or if you understand, send me the like button. Yeah, guys, can we do that? Yeah, everyone. Akshay, Om, Ritik. uh, Cool, guys. Cool. Yeah, so this is a if logical functions, and this is very simple. Okay, suppose uh, I want to apply nested if. So there are two conditions that I want to apply. So if you are see our requirement, the logic that we have developed, right? These logic is only applied for these two conditions. What is the first condition? If the sales amount is greater than or equal to 400, you know it will going to give you high sales, or else it will going to give you low sales. The condition for the medium sales, you are not able to apply. Okay. So because what was the our requirement? The requirement was if the sales was greater than equal to 400, then give me high sales or give me high. If it is between, if it is greater than and equal to 200 but less than 400, then give me medium sales. So this was the requirement. And the third requirement was if the value is less than 200, then only give me low sales. But if you come here and see your data, this value 200, since it is equal to 200, ideally here the sales should come as medium. But as of now it is coming low because our logic for the medium we have not written it. Okay. So what we can do that, I can use if function inside if function. So what I can do, let me create one calculated column, and I will choose new column, and I will write sales category and nested if. Okay, why I'm saying nested if? Because I will going to use if function inside a if function. Okay, so what I will going to write, I will write first if function. If I will say sales amount, sorry, it's sales amount. So we have this sales detail table. Under this table I want to apply logic on sales amount. So I'm saying if the sales amount is greater than, is greater than and equal to 400, then give me high sales, or simply give me high sales. Yeah, high sales. Yeah, give me high sales. Now, so these high sales I will receive when this logical test is true. If the logical test is false, like it will going to ask for the third parameter, result if false. So if the logical test is false, what is the result that I want to give? So here I will write nothing, but I will start my second if function. So I will write if again, and inside this I will write my second logic, and second logic will be based on sales category. So I will write sales detail table का sales category column. If it is less than 200, if it is less than 200, then what is the value that I want? The value that I want is low sales. Sorry, yeah, and else I will give medium sales. So medium is the value. This is a string value. This is a hard coded value. So it should be in double quote. And I will end my if function. So the second if you are able to see, this is my first if function. It started here. If function need logical expression, the logical expression that I have written it here. The first logical expression I am saying that if the sales amount is greater than 400, if it is greater than or equal to 400, give me high sales. So this is the value. When if it is true, then I put comma. After putting the comma, it will going to ask the value for the false. For the value for the false, I have not written, but I started my second if function. So this second if function is inside this first function. This type of uh, function inside of if function inside a if function is called nested if function. So in the second if function, what I am writing, I will write you my second logical expression. What I am saying, if the sales category, if not sales category, it should be sales amount. So let me write it sales amount. Yeah, sales amount. So what I the second logical function I am writing, if the sales amount is less than 200, then give me low sales, else give me medium sales. My first if function is started from here, it will going to end here. Now the second if function has started here. The logical expression is this. The value, if it is true, then it will going to give me high sales. If the value is false, the this logical expression is false, then this will going to run, and since my if function is started from here, it should end here. Okay, and let me hit the enter button. Okay guys, see, I am giving you 1 or 2 minutes, just grasp it. what is the value that has came here. Okay, and try to understand how this is functioning. If you are not able to understand, then ask me again. I'm giving you 1 minute, just try to understand it. Yeah, guys, so if you see all these value, see, if it is checking, the first logical function will going to check, if it is going to check for this value, since sales amount is greater than or equal to 400, it is here 500, and that's why I'm getting here high sales, right? If it is come to the second row, you know the if function, the first logical expression will going to implement, that is, the sales amount is greater than equal to 400. Since here the sales amount for the second row is 150, the first logical expression will going to you know give you false. For the false, this complete expression will going to execute from here to here for the false condition. So this condition will going to run. Now the second logical function will going to check, it will going to check whether this sales amount is greater than sorry, whether this sales amount is less than 200. It is 150, which is less than 200, and that's why I'm getting lower sales. That is condition for true. Now if we come to the third row, okay, sorry, like let's come to the fourth row. That is, here the sales amount is 200. The first logical function will going to run. The first logical function is saying that the sales amount should be greater than equal to 400. Since it is 200, the logic is not met. You will get a false. For false, this condition will going to run. This if function will going to check that whether my sales amount is less than 200 or not. So since it is 200, it is not less than 200. It is equal to 200. Since it is not less than 200, so this logical condition will going to be give you false. And since it will going to give you the false, the result what is mentioned in the false, that is medium sales, and that's why we are getting medium sales. And this is how, using nested if function, that is if function inside another if function, this type of DAX expression is called nested if function. Using nested if function, the logical or the business logic that my client has given it, I have successfully implemented it. And this business logic, that client has given it, this is called KPIs. These are called KPIs. And while in the requirement document, it will be clearly going to specify by the client, that if we want to create sales category column, then what is the logic for this sales category column. Okay, guys, if you have any query, you ask, or else we can move ahead with another logical function that is called switch. Using switch only, will going to implement the same thing, but here I have to use if function two times. But using switch only one times we can use switch and we can implement as many condition or a logical expression that we want to create. We can do that. Okay guys, so take 2 minutes, consume it. If you have any query, write in the chat box. Else we can move ahead with another logical function, and that is switch. We're going to implement the same thing, same logical expression using switch functions. Guys, any questions? Are we good to go? Siddhant, Ritik, other people, can you quickly confirm? Navdeep, yeah, cool guys. Parnav, you there? Anjali, cool guys. So let's move ahead and let's discuss another type of DAX function, that is switch DAX function. So what I will do, uh, let me create a calculated column, and here I will write sales category, and I will say using switch function. Yeah. Uh, Let me write everything in a small letter. Okay, cool. So using switch function or switch DAX function, I will going to implement the same logic. Okay, so I will write switch. This is a switch function. This switch functions, first function it's need a expression, and if you see the second parameter is we need to write a value, and if this value is met, then what is the result that I want. So that if you see value 1 result 1, again you will have value 2 result 2, value 3 result 3, and so on. Okay, so what I will do, since I have to apply logic on sales amount column. Okay, so for this switch, since these are the logical comparison that I want to make. Okay, and this logical comparison should be in a proper sequence. So I will use one of the function that is called true. I will explain what is the role of true here, but as of now you try to understand that true will going to help me to apply the logical expression in sequential order. The first logical expression, then I will write it here, will going to implement first, then the second logical expression will going to implement, and so on. So I have written switch function. This function start from here. Then in place of expression, I have written true. Then I have to provide the value. Okay, what is the value that I want to provide? The value that I want to provide, that I want to check whether my sales amount is greater than or equal to 400 or not. So I will write sales amount. This is my sales amount. I will going to check sales amount should be greater than equal to 400. If it is greater than equal to 400, I will bring this line to the next line by pressing shift and enter at the same time. Let me bring it to the next line. So what I am doing, I am applying switch function. In the switch functions, it take first parameter as expression. As of now, in place of expression, I have written true, because there is some reason I will explain you later on. And then it is asking for the condition, or it's in switch expression they say as a value. So I provided this value. What this value will going to check whether my sales amount is greater than or equal to 400 or not. If it is greater than or equal to 400, give me high cells. Give me high cells. Yeah. Now I will, going to see. So this is the expression, switch is the expression, the value one that I provided, and result one is this. So this is a value one, the logical expression, and this is the result. So if this first logic is met, give me this result. Again, I will come to the next line. How I come? By pressing shift and enter at the same time. And now I will write, second condition. What is the second condition? I am saying, sales amount, sales detail table ka sales amount, if it is, less than 200, if it is less than 200, give me, low sales. Okay. Else, what is the else that I want to give me medium sales. Okay. So at the end, in switch function, you always have to give, else condition. So I am given, if this logical expression is true, then give me high sales. If it is less than 200, give me low sales, else give me medium sales. Now my switch function started from here. It should end after else, so I will end it. So this function start from here, ends here. What is the parameter that it, why I'm writing true here? True will going to help me out in executing this logic first. So always this logic, the first logic that I have written, will going to execute first. So it will going to check this logic first, that whether the sales amount is greater than equal to 400 or not. If it is, then it will going to give me high sales. If it is not, then the second logic will going to implement. It will going to check whether it is less than 200 or not. If it is 200, then it will going to give me low sales. Else, it will going to give me medium sales. So this true that I've written it here will going to help me out, help me in, you know, during execution, it will going to help to execute this logic first, then the second logic, and if you want to put your third, fourth, fifth, so on logic, n number of logic, you can pass, more than like, two logic. You can pass three, four, five, six, as many as you require. As of now, I want to, only pass these two logic, and in else condition I want to pass medium cells. So that is all. Let me click on commit button, and I will have exactly same output using if I'm getting this. See, so it will going to check, the first logic will going to check whether it is greater than equal to 400. It is 500, that's why giving high cells. Since it is less than 200, is it less than 200, so it will going to give me low cells. Since this is also 75, less than 200, less than, 200, it will going to give me low cells. Since it is equal to 200, not less than 200, so it will going to give me medium cells. And it is 400, which is, greater than equal to 400, then give me high cells. That's why it's giving me high cells. Okay. So what is the use of switch function? Using switch function, you can implement more than one logic. If you are using if function, at one go you can implement only one logic. So you have to implement one logic. If the logic is true, it will going to give you result. If it is false, then give you this result. If you want to implement more than one condition using if function, then you have to use if function two times. These are called nested if. But for this type of scenario, I always recommended people not to use if, but to use switch. So the switch function you can write n number of your logic here, and the same logic you will be able to implement this. If you guys have any questions, you know please ask. And I suppose you understand what is the use of switch and what is the use of if function, what is nested if, these are clear. Yeah, guys, can you confirm? Everyone, I want to see. Navdeep, everyone, please respond. Akshay, Siddhant, Ritik, Parnav, Om. Yeah. Anjali, you there? Yeah, good. Akshay, you have a question? Yeah. What you can use in this scenario, but out of these two, you should always use switch. You can use if there is only two condition, or if there is only one logical you know things that you want to apply. If you want to apply only one logical check, you can use if there is more than one logical check, you use switch. Okay. Now let's talk about different scenario using switch. So suppose we have a product category. Okay. And what is the logic that I want to apply? What is the logic that I want to apply? That if my product category is electronics, I should have tech. So what I'm saying, if my product category is electronics, if it is electronics, give me tech. Give me tech. If my product category, that is this column, this is a product category column. If it is electronics, give me tech. If it is furniture, give me home. Oh, sorry, give me home. Now if it is clothing, if it is clothing, then we should have fashion. Else else we should have others. So this is a homework that I want to give you guys, and this is a homework that you have to implement it. You implement using if function. If you implement using if function, you have to use if one time, two time, three time. Okay, that is three times you have to use if function. Or if you are using switch function, then you need to use only switch function at one time only. Okay, so this is a homework that I want to give you. You already have a data. In the next class, if you come, I will going to ask you to share your screen and show how you have implemented it. So we have a tomorrow next class, I will be going to see that. Apart from that, let me see that. So this is a logical function. We have seen what is if, we have seen what is switch function. Then we're going to discuss about what is and or function. Okay, let's move ahead and let's see. Okay, so what I'm doing, let me create one calculated column. Okay, this is a calculated column is there, and I will going to you know s- create a column with the name status, and I will use you know I will say if my product category is either electronics or furniture. If it is electronics and furniture, give me high value, or if it is clothing, give me low value. So what I'm trying to say, Okay. What I'm trying to say, I will say, I will use, for or. First of all, I will going to use or. I am using or. When you are using or, you need to pass two logical expressions. So what is the logical expression that I want to pass? Product category. So sales detail table ka, if the product category is equal to electronics, if it is equal to electronics, else if the product category, if the product category is equal to furniture, let me know, if it is equal to furniture. So what I'm saying, if any of these two condition is met, either sales, you know if my product category is electronics, or if my product category is furniture, if any of these two conditions are met, it will going to give me true, or else it will going to give me false. So see, let me click on enter. See what or function will going to check. It will going to help me out in applying two logical expression. So what is the first logical expression? I'm saying the product category is electronics, right? So it will going to check whether the product category, this is a column for the first row, whether the product category is electronics or not. Yes, it is electronics, so it will give me true. Now it will go to the second row. It will going to check whether the product category is electronics or it is furniture. Out of both, any of the condition is met, it will going to give you true. So if you go here, the second row is furniture. The first condition is not met, but the second condition met, that the product category is furniture. This is met, that's why it is giving me true. If you go to the third row, here the product category is clothing. The first condition not met, neither the second condition met. None of the two condition are meeting. That's why for the third row, I am getting false. If you go to the fourth row, the product category is electronics. If you see here, the first condition is met, that's why it is giving me true. Okay. So when you use or function, when you use or function, it will going to check either this condition is met or this condition is. Any of the two condition is met, it will going to give you true. If out of these two condition none of them met, it will going to give you false. But in place of this or, if I use and, suppose let me create another column, let me paste everything and let me rename this as and I will use here function in place of or, I will use and. So what this and will going to check, this first condition should met, as well as the second condition should be met. If both of the condition are met, then only it will going to give you true. So if I hit the enter key, see, for first row, if you talk about first row, what is the product category? Electronics. The product is category is electronics, but it should also be furniture. That cannot be possible. Both the conditions should met. So only the product category is only electronics. The second condition is not meeting. That is, it should be furniture also for the first row. That's why I'm getting false. If I go to the second row, the product category should be electronics, as well as it should be furniture for the second row also. It is only furniture. The first condition are not met, so it will give you false. and so on. So for each of the row it will give you false, because for each row I have only one product category, but here it is taking both the product category. So that's why I'm getting false. But if I can apply, this condition on other column, like, what I will going to say, if my product category is electronics, and and sales amount, suppose, if sales amount is greater than 200, or if sales amount is greater than, suppose, if it is greater than 300, suppose if it is greater than 300. So what will happen now, these two condition will going to check, it will going to check, product category should be electronics, and it will check, sales amount, sales amount should be greater than 300, then give me good sales, suppose, I'm saying, so, let me, hit the enter button now. See, for the first row, if you see, it will going to check this condition, check, whether product category is electronics or not. So the product category is electronics. Now it will going to check second logic also. What is the second logic? That sales amount should be greater than 300. Here sales amount is 500, which is greater than 300. So both the logic are met. If both the logic are met, it is giving true. When it goes to second row, you know it will check, whether the product category is electronics or not. Here product category is furniture, the first condition is not met, false. So to get a true, both the conditions should met. Okay, here you see, we have, product category as a furniture, sorry, electronics. So if you see fourth row, product category is electronics, first condition is met. Again it will going to check sales amount, whether sales amount is greater than 300 or not. Since the sales amount is 200 only, so that's why I'm getting false here. Now I can use inside if. So I will say if both the conditions are met, if sales product category is electronics and the sales amount is greater than 300, then give me good sales, else give me bad sale. Okay, let me put everything in double quote. Yeah, and I will hit the enter button. So see, for the first condition, electronics, if you see, if I bring everything in the second line to explain you better, okay, if function is start and function is start here, and here for the if it is good sales or expense. So what is happening? This and function will make sure that both the conditions are met. What is product category should be electronics and sales amount should be greater than 300, then only give me good sales, else give me bad sales. So this is a if function. The logical expression is here. This is a logical expression for the if. If this is true, then give me this, else give me this. And this is what is happening. So if you see, the product category is electronics and sales amount is greater than 300, that is 500. That's why I'm getting good sales here. If you say come to the fourth row, although the product category is electronics, the first condition is met, but the sales amount is only 300, which is less than, this condition is not met, and I will get bad sales. Okay, so this is the use of and function. So when you write and, both the logical expression should be true, both the logical expression is met, then only you will get a true, else you will get a false. If you use or function, so if you use or function, where is that? If use or, if any of this expression, any of the two logic is met, you will get true. If any of the logic is met, it will get a true. So this is a difference between and and or. So if I want to wrap up, guys, today we have studied logical function. In logical function, we have seen what is if, we have also seen what is nested if, then we have seen what is a switch function, and we have seen what is the difference between and or. So that's all for the today. Tomorrow we're going to study date and time function. So we're going to study everything in detail with the data and examples so that you guys can practice. Once this is done, we're going to start with the text function, and so that you should be feel confident, because DAX is very very important.